Oh, it is Wednesday, the 25th of November, 2020, and we're here. As you can see, if I take the tack off, bit of a sunshine glare there. We're still getting sunshine in Glastonbury. It's a dark square, which means it's a galactic portal. And we're in the very outer corner. It's red Resonant number 7 Dragon today, and we're in the last 20-day cycle, which takes us down to this other outward bound structure, which will be yellow cosmic sun. And so the last 20 days of this spin cycle in Aries, and the next one begins in Sagittarius. So we've got the fire signs coming together to focus on what's coming to light around what needs to burn off of our human evolution process. So today we've got the sun in Sagittarius and we have the moon in Aries. How magical is that? So we're going back, whenever the moon is in a particular astrological sign, we're going back to what we've learned, what we've discovered, what's here in our consciousness now that has been experiential since this cycle started on the 30th of March. So 7 days into lockdown in the UK, and we're in another lockdown now. And let's just go to the moon degree. So we've got the moon degree is at 11 degrees of Aries. Sunlight illuminating dust in the air. The marvel is that the observer exerts so strong a presence, yet disappears into the atmosphere. You find yourself to be centrally pivotal, yet subtly underlying a pure witness to the objective turn of events. You inhabit the edge between self-will and a higher will. You hold to the sharp borderline between the infinite and the finite, so that you can create yourself anew out of the whole cloth. Transformation can take many forms. You are endowed here with power of wishing, the capacity to visualize and imagine whatever comes next, an astounding skill at coming back to life, recreating everything, taking into yourself worlds ending and worlds beginning. All is poised within, a way of looking at things that magnifies the wonder and overcomes all of the dross. In a strong quest to find yourself amidst the debris of lost worlds and to salvage the dream and the vision. Fab. Totally love that. Apologies for the phone. Bleep. So many things to try and control in the environment at the moment, and everything popping up to show how we can't control it. So what new learnings have you had? What are you really working with now in this last 20 days? Because Red Resonant Dragon is about how we are resonating with what our Universal Mother is bringing for us around showing us our survival wounds. That's what Red Dragon is all about, is understanding how we've survived, what our survival issues are, what our mother issues are, what our home issues are, our caretaker issues are, how we have formed delusions and illusions in order to deal with things that aren't very nice, generally, to try and cope with it. So in psychological terms, coping mechanisms, masks, they're also known as, very apt for now. So how has our tribe, our family story, got this far? How have we come to be here? And how have we survived? And so if we want to analyse that, which we do as a conscious dreamer, we want to be really, really aware of what has worked, what's allowed us to survive, and what we can let go of that is no longer serving us now. So some of these coping mechanisms may be Neptunian, and that's the planet that we're working with. And Neptune at the moment is retrograde. So we're going back over old ground with things that we use that stop us feeling hurt. So it could be sugar, it could be alcohol, it could be other people, it could be fantasy, it could be all of these things. And for the person who's ready to go beyond survival into thriving, it's becoming very clear about why we do these things and how most of them actually poison our system, and that in order for us to really start to thrive and have full human potentiality and access to esoterica, which is what Neptune is all about, Christ consciousness. And all of these don't go together. So the more that we are in toxic relationship, the more we're poisoning ourselves, the more that we're literally dumbing ourselves down because we're doing things to avoid taking it to the next level, then the more that we stay stuck. So, you know, we can't hold on to things and keep moving forward. Part of the process is we have to take responsibility for who we are and what we create and how we've created it in the past, and own it. That's the key. Own it. Take full responsibility for our responsibility. So again, a lot of people are very aware of these things intellectually, but aren't actually living by them. So it's key to understand psychology in order to understand yourself, and not just on a theory basis. There's lots of ideals on planet Earth. There's lots of things that we supposedly live by now. But the reality is we're still in a very unbalanced society with lots of coercion and bullying going on. And it doesn't matter how drunk we get, doesn't matter how stoned we get, doesn't solve it, doesn't get rid of it, doesn't deal with the issue. What deals with the issue is taking action around not doing that behaviour anymore. So literally creating new beginnings. And so I'm just going to share the cards with you that I've got for today, for the next 20-day cycle. So we've got, not very good at this still, Sleeping Goddess of Malta, Gateway Dreams. Guide my dreams that I may remember them and bear their message. Open these gateways to the goddess that I may be aware of your eternal presence. So it's remembering that we are an expression of the divine in this lifetime. We are here as a conduit. We are here as the person, the puppet, the player, whatever you want to label the human being as. We're here as an expression of the divine. We're the next incarnation of our generation, our family story. And my understanding is we're here to end that wounding story. This is the tipping point. It's challenging. We're very much being challenged now around what we believe. And this goes back to Red Earth. So Red Earth is a mastery code. It's the 17th Mayan sign. And the planet is Uranus. So what is coming to light for you around how safe you feel on planet Earth? Do you feel that you are not enough as a human being? Do you feel that your body is not a miracle The body can heal itself when it's allowed to, providing the poisoning has not been too great or the damage too great. And often when we're showing signs of ill health, that's our body's way of communicating to us that we're doing something that's bringing us out of alignment with health. Pushing ourselves too hard, being in relationships that don't feel joyful, doing a job that is akin to being a machine, not having enough rest, not eating the right food, and taking a different look at that. So again, look at the Eastern model, look at different metaphysical models. That's a way to really focus on different ways of being. Listen to the body doesn't lie. The body is always saying the truth about how it actually is. So once we start to look at that and listen and feel, then we get the answers of the changes that we need to make. So in the UK at this time of year, that can be hard to do if we're working full time and we are not working with a natural cycle, but we're working with a man-made cycle, which means we still got to do the same, even though it's dark, even though our body wants to sleep, it wants to rest, it wants to rejuvenate. We've been programmed into a consumer model that makes us believe that we should do certain things in order to fit the consumer model, and that's all that it's for. We're not meant to work nights. We're not meant to work 24/7 all the year round. We are human beings, not machines. So the more we understand how our body works, and the more that we research that and become an expert on ourselves, and that is really, really key, you know, to make time to do that, to discover what makes us tick and what makes us tick in a really great way as well. And the more that we really understand that, then we understand that we have an immune system, and there are ways where we can really boost that immune system through food, through exercise, through uplifting things, and through minimizing negativity. And so watching lots of violent media isn't great for our spirit, for example. It doesn't make us feel good. And so to be mindful of that. And again, it's all about balance. It's about choosing balance. So in terms of the Thoth card today, we've got the Death card. And again, these are amazing cards. This is card number 13, and this has popped up quite a lot recently. So this is about transformation now. What needs to die so that we can live? So it's a Worldbridger, white Worldbridger card, really. Taking action and really tuning in now as well. So apparently we've got huge solar flares going on at the moment. So that really, really affects literally the energy on the planet. In some places, I believe there's been outages in Australia and New Zealand. And it's how it affects us as human beings as well. So again, it's recognizing that we are electrical beings. And, you know, even if you don't buy into the energy model, then just look at some of the equipment used in a regular Western hospital that measures our electrical impulses, particularly our heart rate. This is so key. And so the more that we come to look at things in a different way, then the more we get amazing answers. Because we've got this Neptunian dynamic going on at the moment, I'm just going to, the 28th, so we're on the 25th today. So 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. So that's actually on day 10. And so that's yellow planetary seed. So we're going to see who we are as a star seed on that day. Neptune turns direct at 18 degrees Pisces. So where that is in your chart is crucial for you. If you're the same generation as me, so I'm 55, I was born in 1965, then you will have Chiron in Pisces and around that degree. Okay, so my nearest is at 21 degrees, so we've got a bit of a cough thing going on there, which is interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to read you that. White lilies blooming alone in the shade, gifted with deep and subtle qualities that are germinating in the subconscious and coming into their own, transported into inner worlds in order to dream, imagine, and conceive from a pure place. Disengaged with phenomenal appearances, staying just apart. Much that goes on here stays under, percolates timelessly. A special karma to cultivate the mysteries to be different, yet no issue. Deep down in there, creative forces work unceasingly and design alternatives for the world's partaking. If the world turns that way. So the world turns according to lots of different things. One of the key things about this transition is it's the people that are here to evolve. So the more that each person evolves on a personal level, then that will change the world, not the other way around. So that is the really key focus. So Neptune is a huge planet. It's in its own sign of Pisces. And as I said earlier, the more that we get clear as human beings, the more that we can really work as a conscious dreamer. And so you may notice at the moment that you've been having a lot of intense dreams. I certainly have, and getting some really, really strong messages. So I've started writing a book about my experiences of awakening. And in particular, the focus really is around 2007 for me, and sort of trying to connect to the past in order to see how it shaped where I am now. And I noticed that a lot of people post things about the past is the past, and all I need to do is, you know, write an affirmation that and cast it out. But if you really understand psychology and biology, you know that isn't possible. If you understand trauma, if you understand patterning, it isn't possible just to say something. It would be great in one way if it was, you know, we just say something, wish it, do an affirmation, and it happens instantly. But if you think deeply about patterns and how we've come to be the way that we are over our life, through our experience, and that has made us into the person that we are today, together with the DNA from everyone who came before, the combination. So we've got all the survival stuff, but we've still got all the wounding stuff. So my understanding, my belief is that we're here as alchemists to work with the philosopher's stone that we are. And that's the 12th mind sign, which is yellow human. So we are the philosopher's stone. And the more that we start to understand our story and the more that we start to heal it, then this is what we're here to do now. And the more magic that we can download and create with as a star seed. So on that day, you will see your manifestation. And so that is actually, let's have a look. So today we're on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's going to be on Saturday in the UK. And so you'll see the manifestation of, in particular, this last 10 days, but also for the whole of your life, of course, as it always is, the culmination, but also, in particular, this 260-day cycle. You will see where you're at. Remember, we're in Blue Eagle at the moment. We're in the transformation process. So we've only got one more wave spell to go after this, which is the manifestation of the whole shebang. So it's quite a profound time. Now, the other major event that's going on is on the 30th, which is on Monday. And we have a lunar eclipse, and in the UK, that's at 7:32 a.m. And this is at 9 degrees of Gemini. So this is really key because we've got the North Node in Gemini at the moment on the planet, and this is the Dragon Node. So this is at 7:32 a.m. and it's at 8 degrees in Gemini. And so what are you going to be doing on that day then? Because that is really, really key. And I'm going to be in hospital shortly after, having a procedure. So not the best time really to be in there, but I trust the process. So this is key for me. And so I'll come back to you on that and what happened. And so let's have a look. So it's also key in my chart. I have 4 degrees of Gemini at the bottom of my stairway to heaven, and I'm actually in my mid-heaven time now in Sagittarius. So this is a time of year. So again, this is key how to really work with this. This time of year, my daughter was born on the 18th of December, is a very, very strong time for me. And I can see a lot of the history replaying now. So let's look. A chandelier which holds lit candles. So immediately, as soon as I start reading that, I think of Beauty and the Beast. I don't know why, it just popped into my head. Creative selfhood lights up the world. The brightness lies in the realization of being all things, becoming all things. It is everywhere at once. Nothing is linear nor consecutive. The spinning upon an axis of power. Joy lies in making the connections, in being a resource, in bringing the situations to what it can be. All is activated, mobilized. Your potential is actualized by being all-inclusive and keeping every side of your life in your sights, lit up from within, having a place to shine. So I'm just going to flick through an article by Astrology King. And so what is a lunar eclipse about? If you want to know more about where you can see it and all of that, then please Google that, because that's not my focus. My focus is on what does it mean for me in terms of how it's shaping and influencing my energy. And so it's like a super moon, supercharged, and because it's blocking the light from the sun. Okay, so in this person's perspective, he says it relates to change and uncertainty in love relationships and also with money. So again, if we look at Gemini North Node, what that's about, it's about right relationship. And we have 2 Geminis still running the country in the UK and in the US. Okay, so that's an interesting dynamic in itself, isn't it? So not only is it activating the polarity of the sun opposite the moon, but also Venus opposite Uranus. So we've got Venus is in Scorpio then, and so it's heightening all these intense feelings, this quest for truth, this what needs to die, the death card. And it's the most intense axis in the sky. So we've got fixed stars Aldebaran and Antares, And we've got the eye of the bull opposite the heart of the scorpion. Now, again, if you look up Mithras tradition, and this is a power dynamic, huge power dynamic going on. So ego, what isn't healthy ego, what isn't developed, mature ego, and again, you know, the bull, Taurus, it is what it is, no bullshit. This keeps coming up, these themes. Plenty of smoke and mirrors hanging around at the moment and trying to control and manipulate people. So that's going to be really, really key. So it's going to create a lot of tension and insecurity. But again, if you look at yourself, know thyself, that's the key, and really start working with yourself and start learning tools such as emotional freedom technique, you can change anything that feels like a negative into a way of becoming free. Because once you start to allow yourself to feel your fear and work with it, then you're not owned by it. So it's a very deep principle for the person who is the alchemist doing the great work, the inner work. Anything that's coming up as a fear has an old story attached to it. And it isn't just our story, it's everybody who's gone before us story in our DNA. So again, this is a time to really look at this peak of what's coming up and start to work with it. And let me just scroll down, see if there's anything else. So again, it's looking at how we do things to comfort ourselves. So again, what I was talking about earlier on, the masks that we wear, and they just keep us staying in the same place. Yes, we can drink, yes, we can eat comfort food, but we're not actually getting to the root. We're not actually loving ourselves if we're putting poison into our bodies. And so again, it's what we've learned as a child, it's what we've learned in our society around sweetness, how to feel good, and repeating family dynamics around our mother and father is really key as well. You know, who we model, how we copy, until we decide that we're not going to do those behaviours anymore. So Venus opposite Uranus is a sign of change and uncertainty. And so again, just to be very, very aware of this, of what's going on with yourself, and check out these particular stars as well. See, again, if you know what your star chart is, you can put in these fixed stars. And so he gives a little oversight there. But really, you need to know where these are in your chart. So it's good to know to go deeper, and you can Google that, how to create a free natal chart. Of course, you know, this is a huge thing, but hey, I've done it, so you can do it. If you want to work with me and you want to know more about your chart and your code, then please do get in touch, because I do offer a free consultation. And so that's in itself quite a lot, isn't it, so far? But we haven't finished yet. So just to go back, so we've got Neptune goes direct on day 10, seeing where we are as a star seed, yellow planetary seed. And so then we go to Monday when we've got this lunar eclipse, and here we've got white Worldbridger, number 12. So again, that is very much connecting to this. How clear are we of the old world? How are we still modelling the old world? I personally, that's been coming up for me a lot. I've got some homeopathic remedies, and I'm really working on going over old ground around patterns and code, how that's coming up for me now, how it's affecting me in my body. Again, as we really start to heal and we change and we have less toxicity literally in our body, and through what we eat, what we drink, and the fact that we're not in toxic relationship like we used to be. When I think back sort of 20 years ago, what I was doing to my body then, well, no, it's longer than that now actually. Let's say before I had my children, so say 25 years to 30 years ago, how I was living then, probably 30 years ago, more appropriate. Unreal what I was doing to my body, totally unreal, and being so unwell as well through doing it, and yet supposedly having fun. It's like, wow, how could I even have thought that I was having fun? But a lot of my life was really unhappy, and I felt like a fish out of water. I felt like an alien. I didn't seem to gel with my environment, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't get on with most of the people that I was around, had a totally different mindset. So then I was looking for things, to try and cope with that. And I think a lot of young people do, a lot of young people do struggle with who they are, and are quite shy, actually, find things difficult. Even growing up in the north of England, where shyness isn't really respected or tolerated in many respects. Okay, so just been checking out, excuse me, the solar eclipse on the 14th of December, which in the UK, that will be at 13:33, and no, you can't see it in the UK. So this is so key though, this is massive. Okay, so on that date, we are here at the very last day. And as you can see, it's another black square, so it's another portal day of human evolution. So we've got, at the same degree, we've got the sun and moon in Sagittarius at 23 degrees, which is also conjunct Mercury. Mercury is within 3 degrees. And we've also got the south node there at 19 degrees. And so I'm just going to read you 23 degrees of Sagittarius. A woman wearing many tiny bells. Methodology, technique, the how of things. Immersing yourself in the field of new ideas, fresh approaches, and innovative paths. Imaginatively and energetically exposing yourself to possibilities, visions, ways to evolve. The body's wisdom, musically in touch and in tune, sensing the resonance of cellular awakening. Eager and enthusiastic and bright, you have given over to the process, always in midstream. Seizing upon opportunities, challenges, openings, needing to know just how it feels at the micro levels. What is it like to be free, to be joyous, to be unrestricted here in the body, in the world? You seek the full-on motivating spark of knowing what it feels like to be tuned out and discovering what it really means to be tuned in all the way. So again, I will list this article, and so he goes into depth about the different stars, the fixed stars that are there as well. So what does it mean to have Mercury in Sagittarius? And again, this is a messenger from the gods, and I see that as our God and Goddess self. Mercury is also trine Mars, and Mars is in Aries. So we've got this fire dynamic on the very last day, which is yellow cosmic sun. And so really, again, once you look at all of these things and how they connect together, for me, there is no doubt that there is this amazing conscious divine plan. Yellow sun is the 20th Mayan sign, and its planet is Pluto. So Pluto doesn't go into Aquarius until 2023. So on December the 21st, we will have Jupiter and we will have Saturn going into Aquarius. So they're going to begin the process of awakening to this new way of life that we are bringing in through each one of us. Pluto, however, is not coming in to the dynamic for a while later. So the shadow work is then going to be done. Saturn is focusing on the patterns, and Jupiter is expansion and mastery of the patterns and becoming a master of oneself, because that is the key to being the conscious dreamer at this time. So Sagittarius energy is the 9th gateway. It's where stars are made in the galactic center at around 26 degrees. So it's very, very close dynamic to the galactic center. So we have the ability to really focus, sun and moon, on healing, letting go of any limiting beliefs, and really focusing on what we've come here to create. How much light do we hold through healing the shadow? And that is the key focus, because unless we do this healing work of the heart and understand the principles behind it, then we cannot be free of the past. We cannot be free of the old story, because the whole point of us being here is to do that story and understand that process and become more and more empowered as the embodiment of the Creator. As we access our own Christ consciousness through our own personal process, then we become sovereign and an enactment of that sovereignty. We cannot just do that in our head, and it's so key to understand that. So, a lot to think about over the next 20 days. And so it's recognizing that we go from what the Great Mother is bringing us every time. We're in the 13th, the very last spin, 20-day spin. And so to be really mindful of that. What has all this dynamic brought for you? Focus on that. Focus on yourself. Put your energy there. And everything is showing us what is no longer working for us as a person uniquely. And each person is where they are on their path uniquely. So very key to understand, yes, we are all in this together, and we are also all unique. The more we focus on ourselves, the more we realize what our dynamic is, what our mystery is, what we're here to heal for ourselves personally. And that, again, is how we change the world on a personal level. And on a very soul-focused level, that's what we've come here this time around, to remember who we really are, to use all our gifts and all our magic from many, many lifetimes. We've chosen the perfect family to incarnate into to do that. We agreed to that. This is our soul contract. This is why we're here at this time. It's a magical, supercharged time. It's an amazing time to become free. I will be starting a course on the start of the new 260-day cycle, which will be on the 15th of December. And I'm just putting it in place now. So if you'd like to register for it, because it will be limited to a small group of people that I can work with on a regular basis, and due to the depth that we're going to be working at, it needs to be small. Okay, so, and the dynamic will be so enlightening of the group that will bring illumination to everyone involved in it, and that's the nature of it. I'm in the process of writing my first book, and that hopefully will be out soon, and once I master the technology to do it. So lots of love to you, and I hope you are having an amazing time of getting to know yourself, getting to know what you love about yourself and about this life, and what you intend to do with the challenges that you've been given at this unprecedented spin cycle. If you'd like to know more about your chart and book in for a reading with me, maybe what's going to be pertinent for you over this 20-day cycle, or for the next 260-day cycle, how to work with these patterns, how to get clear and let go of any limitations that you may be feeling, how to come into your personal centre, then all the details of how to get in touch for a free consultation are on my website, flowwithjo.com. Lots of love, and I hope to speak and see you soon. Bye for now.